so I'll get down.
And good evening. I'd like to call a special meeting of the Dare County, hold on, he says.
I thought we weren't going live.
I think you have to go in. I think we have to go live to.
Good evening. I'd like to call the special meeting of the Dare County Board of Education to order. Today is Monday, June the 12th, 2023, and we're meeting at the Dare County Administration Building in Manteo, and the time is now 4:15. Before we begin, I'd like to request a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda.
We have a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Approved. Next, I'd like to request a motion to go into closed session.
I was going to read it.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into closed session to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3, and to consider confidential personal matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are now in closed session. Like, excuse me. I'd like to request a motion to adjourn the open session. Mr. Chairman, we move to open session. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second.
Susan is a second. Sue, Carl.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're now in open session. I'd like to request a motion to adjourn the special meeting. Is there a second? Or there's a motion, excuse me.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. We are now adjourned. All right. Good evening to everyone. I'd like to call the June 12th, 2023 meeting of the Dare County Board of Education to order. We're meeting at the Dare County Administration Building in Manteo. The time is now about 5:17. Before we begin, I'd like to request a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I'd like to recognize any Board of Commissioners that are present. Are there any Board of Commissioners present this evening? Okay, great. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. David Twitty to provide the welcome and to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate that. What a wonderful weekend. We had three outstanding graduations. I want to commend and congratulate the students of 2023. We started Friday night at First Light High School. Beautiful. It was awesome. As always at Manteo High School, the Lost Colony is, in my heart, is a wonderful place to have a graduation. And we ended up Saturday night at Cape Hatter Secondary School. The kids were unbelievable. They made the smile on their face and ready to go into the real world is what we're here for, you know, to share with them what the future will be for them. And that's unbelievable. I also like to share with the teachers tonight that hopefully Wednesday is last optional work day. They can take about a 45 days, relax, summer vacation, and enjoy themselves. Now, on the other side of that, our maintenance staff and our custodians are going to really go hard because they got to be ready for next year of having that building clean and make it where they're ready for another year. So where we think that time slows down, it really begins again. So it is unbelievable what our staff does for our students of Dare County and our teachers, our bus drivers, our school administration, our central office administration. When you work together, you can make things and make the results. And you'll see tonight, and I'm not going to get into it much and blow their recognition, but just a small recognition tonight is, like I say, small. We have so much going on in our school district. It's unbelievable. And I can't say enough for our staff. I really can't. And also, Mayor Line shared with me this evening, there was a very unfortunate accident that occurred on Highway 12 around 10 o'clock this morning. I don't know the outcome of that, but my heart is out for the family, and hopefully things will come out better than possibly expected. And it's tragic for our community. So with that being said, thank you all for coming here tonight, and let's go to Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Twitty, thank you so much for those words in regards to graduation and everything in between, getting ready for next school year. Thank you. Our first order of business this evening is Approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The agenda has been approved. Next, we'll move to public comment. I'll turn the meeting over to our board attorney, Ms. Rachel Hitch.
Thank you. The Dare County Board of Education welcomes the opportunity to hear from the public during its regularly scheduled meetings. The public comment period is open for members of the public, including parents and students, to voice compliments, concerns, or complaints about performance of school personnel, implementation of board policy, or the quality of the education program and school facilities. According to policy, presentations are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Obscene, vulgar, or profane statements, personal attacks and insults, or statements that are disruptive to the orderly operation of the board's functioning and the meeting shall not be permitted. So with that being said, we have several folks who have signed up for public comment, and I think I have them here in the order in which they signed up, but I'm not sure. First, I have Steve Camp. And just let me know when you're ready to get started, and I'll start your time.
Okay, now works. Thank you. Hey there, I'm Steve Hamp. I've met some of you, and for those I haven't, I'm the journalism teacher at First Flight High School, but also I'm a dad to now 2 graduates of First Flight High School as of Friday night. To sort of echo what Mr. Twitty said, there is so much good going on in our schools that while I was sitting in the parking lot waiting for a break in the rain, I was like, you know, I'm here anyway for a presentation. I should say a few words. So on my form, I just wrote down general kudos. And I sort of jotted some down here first. So first of all, in terms of the graduation, it was amazing. And the live stream, like if there was one great thing that came from COVID, it was our attempt to try to give as much normalcy as possible to people. And so we started live streaming some sporting events, and then that kind of transformed into live streaming other things like board meetings and graduations. Friday night, I had the honor of presenting my daughter her diploma on the stage. That was something that Mr. Lansing brought with him from Charlotte for First Flight staff members, and it was truly memorable. Before I was all the way back to my seat, my aunt in Puerto Rico had sent me a text with a screenshot of me presenting my diploma to Delaney. And so I know that's a ton of work for folks like Aaron and Holly, but kudos to all involved for doing that, because there were a lot of people watching. I'm sure you guys have analytics numbers, but very cool. Let's see, minute and a half left. Kudos as well. DCS leadership. It's been a great year. Mr. Bassnight's listening sessions with staff and students and parents. The board meetings, it's almost whole new board, and there were a lot of questions coming in this year. And it's just been a really nice year from both the teacher and the staff perspective. And, you know, when Raleigh's doing things like offering people like me a $5 a week pay raise, it's nice to have good local leadership. So thank you guys for that. College of the Albemarle, our relationship with them is just phenomenal. My son is actually going to get his associates through COA and the Dare Guarantee program in July. My daughter is going off to Elon with, I think, 15 hours of credits, and love the COA partnership. And along those lines, Carolina Advising Corps, Brianna Ledbetter is our rep at First Light High School, and she is a treasure. And 2 years ago, we did not have a college Advising Corps rep for various reasons. I would love to maybe even see if those could be full-time folks rather than the just 2-year limit, something to maybe think about. But thank you for all that everyone's doing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Malia Speedy. Did I get your name right? Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, I am Malia Speedy, and I just graduated from Cape Hatteras Secondary School. And I recently wrote an essay for an essay contest that was held for all of Dare County, and I got second. And at the banquet that I went to receive the check, someone asked me to speak here. So here I am. Um, and this is what I wrote. Public education is so important in our society as it provides children with the resources needed to free themselves from the shackles of poverty they may have been born into, giving every child an equal chance to survive in such an economy-based world. When governmental positions are given, it decides if public schooling will be supplied with adequate funding for a truly beneficial school career for the children. This decision also determines the teaching abilities of the teachers hired as well as the different learning materials they are able to provide, such as science labs, field trips, and other beneficial school events, dictating how their school experience goes. Without proper funding, some schools are unable to offer specialized classes for disabled children or especially talented ones. This skews the full potential of the children's school experience, which the students have absolutely no control over, compared to one where their needs are being better met. Furthermore, this brings up the transgender discrimination bills across multiple states trying to inhibit their educational rights, another instance of schools' full potential being wasted. Transgender students are being targeted by the school system, permitting teachers to out students to their parents, a situation that can become dangerous for the child in certain unfortunate circumstances. Censor conversations referencing the LGBTQ community, and blatantly excluding these students from participating in sports. Each of these actions limits the opportunities available for transgender and other students included in the community, as well as gifted students and disabled children if the school's funding is too tight. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Leah Dixon.
Hello, I'm gonna lift this mic up because I'm really loud. I actually, since I have to be here today for our AVID demonstration, Becoming an AVID School, I thought the same thing as HAMP. I would just mention a couple things that popped into my head since I'm here. At the AVID demonstration, I had a wonderful conversation with Ron Payne about ChatGPT. And I feel like that's something we need to look at again. We need to look at that cheating policy and maybe tweak it so that we can get out ahead of some of this stuff. Also, the attendance policy, we've got to do a better job. We can't teach them if they're not in the seats. So whatever we can do to enforce that, maybe bring back Tom for Tom so those students can make it up so we can actually teach them. Whatever we can do. I know that there's stuff coming down from the state potentially that's going to force us to do that. So again, getting out ahead of it. We had a supplement committee prior to COVID that we put together with a lot of data that I'm sure still exists somewhere. It would be nice if we could revisit that. There was a committee for that as well. And then one of the great things that COVID brought about was being able to work virtually from home. I would like to see us be able to do that on optional work days. I think that's really beneficial to teachers, and in the business world, everybody gets to do it. And I do want to follow up with Hamp said as well. I know y'all have had a lot coming in this year and taking over this big job, and we do appreciate everything you guys have done. And I know you still have a long ways to go, but I appreciate your support for us this year. Thanks.
Thank you. And then Jamie Wagner.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jamie Wegner. I have one child in the Dare County schools and one entering pre-K, fall of 2024, fingers crossed. Tonight I speak in dispute of harmful legislation moving through Raleigh and in favor of school voucher bills HB 823 and SB 406, the Choose Your School, Choose Your Future Act. Tonight I update and urge action and in support on behalf of Dare County schools and to our Board of Education. I read this morning the most recent update, which identifies and signals that education leaders in 25 plus school districts speak out against the North Carolina General Assembly's extreme plans to gut the funding for public education. These are bipartisan calls from school boards and public education leaders across the state to invest in public schools. Education leaders in over 25 school districts are speaking out and opposing the extreme North Carolina General Assembly legislation that would decimate public schools and calling on legislators to invest in our public education. As we learn about this, school board members and superintendents from rural and urban areas are beginning to call on legislators to do the right thing and invest in our schools. A growing number of school boards from both rural and urban counties have passed their resolutions. Several additional school boards include boards in Asheville and Carbis County, and they're considering similar resolutions, their school boards. In addition, other public educators and leaders have also spoken out opposing these bills and expanding private school vouchers. The 19 superintendents in the Northeast region recently sent a letter to legislators expressing their concerns with the proposed voucher expansion and highlighting the negative impacts the expansion would have on the school districts and in their region. There are several individual resolutions being passed, which included a joint resolution from 19 superintendents, in which we thank Superintendent Bass-Knight for adding your signature to that joint resolution, and other professional entities and organizations to pass their own resolutions, in which our local organization of Dare Democrats also backs up. And so therefore, this is in prioritization again of our public education in the 2023 through 2025 biennial budget. In support of your BOE mission that you swore you would uphold, and in support of our public schools, children, staff, and educators in Dare County and North Carolina, tonight I urge you to make a motion to pass a resolution in Dare County School Board and be Dare County School Board number 3 in the state of North Carolina in support of our state's public education and in the 2023 through 2025 biennial budget. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hitch. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the speakers also. Next, I'd like to turn over to Ms. Denise Fallon for announcements.
So good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. I just wanted to give a shout out to Hannah Nash, who's our public information officer, who did an outstanding job with our Countdown to Commencement social media blitz. We backed it up 10 days from when those graduation ceremonies started, and we highlighted different things going on and different achievements, awards, recognitions with some of our seniors and our graduates. We were really excited to do that. She and I discussed it briefly, and she took it and just ran with it. Thanks to the principals and the schools for sharing that information with us. I certainly hope that the community enjoyed that, and I know that next year it's just going to be bigger and better. But some really great information out there. Dare County schools were doing great things, and I appreciate the opportunity to push that out to the public and let them understand that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other announcements this evening, Mr. Bass-Knight? None? Yes, you do.
Do you want me to go ahead and do recognitions?
Yeah, I want to yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Captain, do you have to amend the agenda to do that?
Then we won't do that.
Okay.
I can't wait. Then the next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Susan.
Susan. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is reports and items for information. I'll turn the meeting over to Superintendent Bass Knight.
See, that wasn't a long wait. We are excited tonight to be able to highlight some of those things that Mr. Hamp talked about a few minutes ago. And we tried to spread it around the county, but there's a lot more things going on than the things you see tonight. But I do want to ask Ms. Fallon to come back up to the podium. And I believe she's going to have a couple people join her.
Yes, I am. I just wanted to just say, one of the things that we really discussed in doing these recognitions, a lot of these students that you're going to meet tonight are seniors. And so this is an opportunity for us to say, congratulations, job well done. Thank you for representing Dare County Schools so well as you start out on your journey in life. So with that being said, we're going to kick things off with a recognition for Cape Hatteras Secondary School. So I know that John Hunting is here and Beth Rooks, if you'll join me please at the podium. Beth Rooks is the principal at the secondary school in Cape Hatteras, and John Hunting is our College of the Albemarle liaison who works for Dare County Schools. On May 10th, 7 seniors from Dare County Schools graduated from College of the Albemarle with various associate degrees and certifications. One student from First Flight High School, Sophia Jacobi, earned an associate's in arts. 6 of the other 7 graduates were from Cape Hatteras Secondary School. To earn an associate degree, students complete about 62 credit hours of college work. These credits are transferable to schools in the UNC system and beyond. We are so proud of these students for earning this 2-year college degree as high school students. As you can imagine, this is not an easy task. It takes a great deal of support from the school and from parents along the way, and of course, hard work from students. I'd like to commend Principal Rooks, her school counselor, Ms. Jarvis, and John Hunting, again, our COA liaison that works for Dare County Schools, for their outstanding efforts in supporting, planning, and scheduling so that this could happen for these students. From Cape Hatteras Secondary School, Cassia Ensenat, Associate in Arts. Are they here? Okay. Lillian Ratliff, Associate in Arts, Molly Hanberger, Associate in Arts, Addison Wilson, Associate in Arts, Misty Elder, Associate in Arts, Ansley Thompson, Diploma in HVAC Technology, and he plans to continue at COA working on a welding diploma through the DARE Guarantee. We also have one additional student, Shaylee Balance, who will finish her associate degree this summer, taking our total number to 8. So congratulations to all, and thank you for your hard work on that.
Mr. Chairman, would you mind if we got a photograph down in front of the board for
Absolutely,
that?
yeah.
Where we go? Oh, I didn't know about my photographs. Okay. I don't know, Steve, I've been outside in the rain. For second recognition, I'd invite Chuck Lansing and Steve Hamp to the podium with me, please. Chuck is the principal and Mr. Hamp is the journalism teacher. Okay. I'm going to let you talk a minute about her. Is that okay? Okay. So First Flight High School's Nighthawk News staff and advisor, Steve Hamp, I want to congratulate him for receiving national recognition with the John F. Kennedy Journalism Award this May. The Robert F. Kennedy, did I say John? I know. I wrote and I said, okay, so the Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Award in May. The Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Award is honors outstanding reporting on issues that reflect Robert Kennedy's concerns, including human rights, social justice, and the power of individual actions in the United States and around the world. Indeed, this is a very prestigious national recognition. The drug crisis edition of the Nighthawk News magazine came out in March 2022, and we do have copies here this evening over on the table. This 32-page edition was spearheaded by senior editors, Editor-in-Chief Kaylee Halleck, Maren Ingram, and Maggie McNinch following the death of first flight student Riker Clark in January from an accidental overdose. Before highlighting the national opioid and fentanyl crisis's impact here in our community, the news staff gained support from Carolyn, Riker's mom. She welcomed an interview to share her story and Riker's. The end result was a powerful package of pieces that got the school and the greater OBX community talking about the drug crisis. Students interviewed Carolyn to share Riker's story, her grief, and the work she had begun to combat a local drug problem. The editors met with officials from the town of Kill Devil Hills and the Dare County Sheriff's Office for a news story on the law enforcement perspective of this issue. A pill collection drive at the school led to a striking cover image that you can see, photographed by current senior photo editor Taylor Newton. A deputy brought the collected pills into the journalism room and then scattered them in various ways so that he could direct that photo shoot, and it is powerful. Other Nighthawk News staff members also contributed pieces for the drug edition. Several of these students are seniors this year. Current senior Olivia Sugg provided a question and answer interview with local addiction specialist Jenny Thiessen. Current senior Kira Walters wrote 3 vignettes about 2 students and a local adult who had struggled with addiction in the past. Recent graduate Joey Craig offered an opinion column on the pros and cons of efforts involving drug education in schools. While recent graduate Fiona Frencham penned the staff editorial on ways to improve drug education. Again, this is a national recognition. We were there for a watch party as they announced it nationally. And I will tell you that it was so moving for me. I watch PBS a lot. I don't even watch any other television, just public broadcast system. And 2 of the documentaries that I had seen on PBS were recognized that day, if that tells you anything about the work these students have done. So congratulations to all. Hats off to Principal Lansing for giving them the power to attack such a sensitive topic in the school and handling so well. And congratulations to you and your students. Can you say a word about your students, please?
Thank you. Yeah, so we actually invited all 7 students who were honored, but 4 of them are away at college, either still doing summer classes or orientation, and 2 are working tonight, unfortunately. So Maggie McNinch, though, was able to join us, and she was one of the 3 editors-in-chief who was able to spearhead that and have those powerful interviews with Sheriff Dowdy, with Carolyn Riker, and help put all this together. And it's just, I'm a former journalist, and I've now been teaching journalism for 13 years. And just to be able to tell these kinds of powerful stories in our schools is something that I am very excited to do. And we appreciate Dare County Schools' support of student journalism in our schools.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
You want to hold this? Mr. Bass Knight, I think I'm going to turn this one over to you. Mr. Chuck Lansing, Assistant Principal Joe Tyson, and Justin Keeley. You want to do that one now? Okay. Can I invite these people to the podium, please? Principal Lansing, Assistant Principal Joe Tyson, and Teacher Justin Keeley.
Mr. Chairman and board members, sometimes things happen and you wonder about the outcome. You wonder if people are ready. You wonder if we could do it right. And events like the one that took place at First Flight High School show you how the people that work for Dare County Schools and teachers everywhere are willing to go above and beyond when necessary. Not too long ago, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but not too long ago during lunch, one day at First Flight High School, a student began choking in the cafeteria. Teacher Justin Keeley was on duty and called for some assistance. Mr. Joe Tyson, the assistant principal, came running, and Mr. Chuck Lansing, the principal, also ran into the cafeteria. When they determined that the student was choking, Mr. Lansing gave him the Heimlich, and first couple times I think it was not working, and I think the last time the way Principal Lansing described it was he gave him a good tug, and the young man was able to get rid of what was in his throat and took a deep breath. And tonight, I want us to recognize Principal Lansing, Assistant Principal Tyson, and Mr. Keeley for going above and beyond, because this isn't on the evaluation instrument anywhere, but they saved a young man's life. And I want you to know how much I appreciate what you did. And I know your selflessness of stepping up when it was needed said a lot to the people that were around you and the students that saw you in the cafeteria that day. And I wanted everyone to know the outstanding job that y'all did and say thank you.
Thank you. You know, as educators, we are trained to do stuff like that. But my goodness, when it really happens and it happens the way it's supposed to and the way you train, it's amazing. So hats off to those guys. At this time, I'm going to talk a little bit about Manteo High School. And I'm going to invite to the podium Mr. John Luciano and his assistant principal, Miss Sarah Pritchard. Yeah. Hey, here we go. Awesome, folks. So our third recognition tonight for one of our schools is to recognize Manteo High School. I'm going to first tell you a little bit about AVID and what it is. Advancement via Individual Determination, or AVID, is an in-school academic support program for grades 7 through 12. The purpose of the program is to prepare students for college eligibility and success. On May 16th, Manteo High School hosted an Avid Showcase event to spotlight the incredible efforts of educators throughout their building in promoting Avid initiatives. On that date, Manteo High School earned the distinguished designation as a National Avid Demonstration School. Avid National Demonstration Schools are exemplary models of the Avid College Readiness System. Demonstration schools undergo a rigorous validation process to ensure high levels of implementation with quality and fidelity to the Avid strategies school-wide. That does not happen everywhere. Congratulations to both Principal John Luciano and Assistant Principal Sarah Pritchard, along with their Avid site team and their students for this incredible achievement. And I'm going to let Mr. Luciano tell you a little bit about what that demonstration school status will mean and recognize your staff.
Okay, you can do the recognition. We started this journey actually to become an Avid demonstration school 10 years ago. We had been an Avid school for 16 years. And about the fourth or fifth year of it, I was approached to represent Region 1 in North Carolina on the Avid principals group, I guess you would call them at the time, and to go from place to place to place and talk about Avid. And that's when I was approached by the person who was in charge of Avid of all the Northeast to, how about becoming an Avid demonstration school? I had no idea what that meant. At that time, there were none in North Carolina at the high school level. And so that's the day we started working towards it. And so this is the culmination of 10 years of hard work, mostly by obviously the staff that you're about to meet. This year's site team, and that's again, the people you'll meet today, they're the driving force behind it. They're the ones that give the PD to all of our staff throughout the year. And then they help us each and every week talk to teachers about what's going on in their classes, visit the classrooms, and kind of give them a pat in the back to make sure they know it's appreciated what they did. And those of you who had an opportunity to come to our school this past, I guess, a couple months ago, you got to see a lot of the things that happen in our school through Avid. But I want to be clear about one thing about Avid. The word Avid, advancement via individual determination, isn't the whole story of Avid. Avid strategies, the work we do at Avid, those are best practices. And we would do those whether we were not an Avid school or not. And that's the one thing that, as a national demonstration school, I hope we're able to show to other principals around the nation. I've said many times there's a lot of reasons why Manteo High School is fortunate enough to be an A school a couple of years in a row back before COVID. And I always said that part of it was the Avid strategies, the Avid things that we did school-wide amongst all of our staff. And that only happens with the cooperation of these fine people. So, Ms. Pritchard, want to introduce them all? The ones that all of them.
Sure. All right. So we'd like to introduce our site team. So our site coordinator this year was Suzanne Pack. So she led us, but she's unfortunately not here tonight. We had 3 Avid elective teachers. Riley Hudat taught the 10th grade. Lee Dixon did the 11th and 12th. And Alfie Wheeler taught the 9th grade. And then we also have on our site team Tara Wheeler, Regina Cecil, Stephen Nichols, Alan Ellington, Bailey Allison, Emily Denoto, and Lisa Matthews.
So I wanted to just emphasize what Mr. Luciano said. It's about spreading the love, if you will, and making sure that those strategies, those best teaching practices happen throughout the building. And when I visited, that's exactly what I saw. It was amazing. So hats off to you guys for making that happen with your colleagues. That's good stuff.
And
so congratulations.
I'd like to also add thank you all for when we came to see and watch the process was very exciting. And it was really exciting to be able to share that with you guys. So thank you for, being like that whole event that day was just remarkable, and very proud of all of that you've done for your whole school, not just the kids in the Avid program, and how your Avid students are helping their other friends within that. It's just really great to see that. I know it's a lot of hard work, but there's definitely a payoff. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And I've got to also say, when we were there visiting that day, I think each and every one of you said it was family.
Yeah.
And the instructors that came in and evaluated y'all realized it was family. Whether it was Avid or other school children in the building, it was a true family. So thank you, Luciana, Sarah, for being the key administrators and the wonderful staff that we have at Manteo High School. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Great job.
Mr. Chairman. Best when I was, as a former teacher, it was fantastic going in and seeing great teaching taking place, not only in your classes, but throughout the whole building. Hats off to you, Mr. Luciano, and to the whole team. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, for the photograph, I didn't mean to insinuate that the rest of the board couldn't come down too. So please, board members, if you'd like to get the photo, please, everybody come down front.
So I guess we're getting a photo. We might need to get.
I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be great, guys. Tighten in just a pinch. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Ah! Do it. Say it again. Got it.
Did you get it on the line or
But you stay up here because we're going to do the soccer game. And Mr. Bass Knight, I'm going to turn it over to you for our last recognition this evening with some of our students.
Fantastic. Coach, you want to bring the girls up and stand there at the podium while I talk about you a little bit? I promise it's not bad. Ladies, come up and join us.
Woo!
Okay, I want to give you a little bit of background because this is something the coach and I had talked about for a couple weeks. I went out to one of the soccer match. I actually went to the First Flight Mania match, and that one turned out in Mania's favor. It was good, so I didn't jinx anybody. I guess it wasn't a tie at least. And then I went back to the East Carteret game, but they had moved the East Carteret game back an hour, and I couldn't stay, so I left. But they ended up winning 11-2. But I wasn't there for the game. So I kept telling him, I'm not going back until you get to the state championship because I'm not going to jinx you. And I made a promise to some of the girls that I would not go but if they went to the state championship, I was going to go. So we did it, okay? And y'all did excellent. So they made it to the state championship game. They went down to Clinton and beat Clinton on their home field. And I'm going to try to read this because I'll get it wrong if I don't. On Saturday, June 3rd, Manteo High School women's soccer team traveled to UNC Greensboro and brought home a state championship. With a record of 25-0-2, the team toughed out a 5-3 victory over a highly touted opponent. The ladies played much of the first half on the opponent's end of the pitch and went into the break trailing 1-0. Just from a spectator's point of view, it was everything you would ever want to watch in a state championship, except for the fact that we were down 1-0 at halftime, which was about to give me a heart attack. So I had to get up and go to the concession stand. And on the way back from the concession stand, this roar comes up at the beginning of the second period because we had scored and tied the game. And at that point, it was like, this is a real possibility. And I want to say this too. In watching the game, the other team had had a couple outstanding players who played well, and you could tell the difference. And I believe this in my heart from watching that game. The difference in our game that day was not the standout individual athletes. It was every time one of their outstanding girls on the other team started to do anything, she had 1, 2, 3 of our girls around her. And just so you know, it was 92 degrees sitting there in that field watching. And I thought at the end of the first half, they were tired, but we didn't look that way. And I've always heard that the coach has a phenomenal halftime speech, and I don't want to know what he said, but whatever he said works, so keep doing it anyway. They came back in the second half and traded goals back and forth, and there was a little light in the tunnel, I think, at one point when they cut it to 4-3, but our girls went right back down and scored and put it out of reach. And at that point, it was just a matter of running the clock out, and everybody could feel it. And I can't imagine how it felt on the field with y'all. You played beyond phenomenal. You never cracked. You didn't let the nerves get to you. You did an outstanding job. And to me, you just didn't win the game and become state champions. You played like state championship. And I'm very proud of every one of you and want you to know how much I enjoyed watching you have that moment. And I'm going to finish by telling you this. If you look around you when all of y'all are together, you've got teammates that will be with you for the rest of your lives. You see, not very many people get to say, we were state champions. And so your coaches and your teammates and your managers will always be state champions with you. And no one will ever be able to take that away from you. So when you get old and you're sitting around old talking to your friends, somebody's going to say, remember when we went to UNC Greensboro and won the state championship? And it will come flooding back to you. So congratulations, ladies. Dare County is extremely proud of you. And I can't even begin to tell you how many chills we had when you rolled back in Manteo at 10:30 p.m. that night and the roads were lined with people. So thank you very much for bringing us all along with you and for your championship win in 2A state championship. Thank you. Coach, do you want to say something?
I would just like to thank you all for everyone in the community, because the community support throughout the entire playoff run was tremendous. The girls felt the love and support, and I know we mentioned at halftime of that, you know, that our community was watching, and they were looking to us to not necessarily to win, but to play with pride and to play hard and give it our all and never quit. And in the end, that's what these girls did. And then having the victory along with those things was tremendous. And I will just say what a great group of girls this is. They are true student athletes. They all have tremendous grades, great GPAs. Their teachers seem to love them most all the time, and no behavior issues. So they're a pleasure to coach. They're great on the field and great in the classroom. So the future is very bright for these girls.
I know you couldn't carry your phone with you down there on the field, but somewhere just after the start of the second half, we started getting photographs sent to us, text messages from the Pioneer Theater and the people in downtown Manteo at Dare Days who had left Dare Days to go stand in the Pioneer and watch the game. And that was just absolutely awesome. It would have been nice to be in there, but I wouldn't have traded where I was sitting for anything. So congratulations, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When I was in high school, in my junior year and my senior year, we won states for field hockey. And I don't remember a whole lot about my senior year, but I definitely remember that day we won that game. So this will definitely follow you through life. And it is a glorious moment. So congratulations. It's so exciting.
And Coach, one thing, I coached in high school on the college level, and what the girls may not know, how much time you put in to prepare them to play a game and how hard it is sometimes to win one game. But to have that record is phenomenal. Once again, congratulations.
Coach, I just want to say thanks for all the hard work, and your assistant coach and your athletic director and our trainer at Manteo High School of the hours that they put in to make this accomplishment happen. It's unbelievable when you go and put the hours in and see, and then at the end of results, it's a wonderful thing. So ladies, congratulations. You well deserve it, and you made us proud.
Sure did. I know. You're good, you're good. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Great job.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yeah, and one more note on that. Carl Woody was responsible for getting the hookup at the Pioneer Theater.
Good job, Carl.
Nice.
I sat there right in the front row, watched the whole thing. Playing the first soccer match I've ever watched. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. So with that, Mr. Bass Knight, meeting's over, I guess, right?
I guess we can all go now. No.
I want to thank everybody. We'll now move on to unfinished business.
Got one more.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman. The continuous security checks on the table in front of you. You have a memorandum that we received from the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Secretary Eddie Buffalo, about security checks that have taken place this current year, just informing us that they would continue over the summer and go into next year as well. And those security checks direct the North Carolina Alcohol Law Enforcement, State Capitol Police, State Highway Patrol to do security checks at high schools or schools throughout North Carolina to continue the summer as well as in the fall. So just giving you a heads up that we received that, and they're partnering with us to keep our schools safe. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bass Knight. And next, we'll move on to unfinished business. I'll turn the floor over to Board Attorney, Ms. Rachel Hitch.
Yes, thank you very much for that. So we have here several policies for second reading that were presented to you last month for first reading. And I didn't get any questions or any concerns about anything that needs to be reviewed or revised. So it's here for your approval on second reading.
I make a motion we approve this second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
That was David and Susan.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item under unfinished business is approval of student advisors to the board. Mr. Bass Knight, Ms. Fallon.
Mr. Chairman, we'd like to make a recommendation. Ms. Fallon, you going to say anything about board members?
No.
Criteria?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So the student advisors to the board, as we've presented previously in meetings, 11th grade students, we're looking for a GPA standard, 2 recommenders from teachers, administrators, someone that can speak to their leadership skills. It is an application process. The students apply to the board, and then there's an interview process, and then those students are chosen. But they're there to again, provide some insight into a student perspective, give student voice to concerns that are going on. So I think that's a brief summary.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend that the board approve the addition of student advisors to the Board of Education.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve student advisors to the board, practice and protocols of the superintendent supervision presented?
So moved.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? One question, Ms. Fallon, how quickly can we get the information out to?
So I
rising
do have
seniors?
a slide that kind of outlines that process with some dates on it, if we can get that up. So we'll advertise those open seats to grade 11 students using various means: email, newsletters, announcements, social media posts, student government. We're doing a district alert call. We'll open up that application window as soon as possible, June 14th through the 28th of July. That should give students plenty of time to apply. I would ask the board during that time to consider the interview process, and then do those interviews in late July, early August, so that the board can actually vote on those recommendations at their August meeting. And then after August, I'll do a training with those advisors so that they sort of understand their role and their function. Then we'll swear those students in September.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the student advisors to the board, practice and protocols of superintendent supervision as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Mr. Bass Knight and Ms. Fallon will address the board about the next agenda item.
You want to start?
No.
Okay. As we discussed in beginning the process of opening a potential early college in Dare County, our first step is that we have to notify the Department of Public Instruction of our intent to form a team to develop an application for that early college. Mr. Chairman, what we're requesting tonight is that the board approve for us to notify the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction of our intent to open an early college in Dare County.
Thank you, Mr. Bass Knight. Is there a motion to approve the request to submit a notice of intent and application to NCDPI?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Did you get that?
Any
Jojo?
opposed?
Carl and me.
Nay. Motion passes. We'll now move to new business. I'll turn the meeting over to Board Attorney Rachel Hitch for presenting the first reading of proposed policy manual updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With there on here several 3, 4, 5 policies for you. 4 are amendments. 1 is a new policy, and these are generally proposed by the School Board Association as far as policy updates. And this is first reading, so you don't have to adopt them tonight. They're only on the first reading.
Thank you, Ms. Hitch. This concludes our business portion of the meeting. I'd like to now open the floor for comments from the board, and we'll start with Mr. Twitty.
I just want to touch base, and maybe we have some residents just coming on board, in our last part of our meeting, but it's unbelievable that we had 8 students at Cape Hatteras Secondary School that got associate degree this year, that can go out and into another college and be there halfway there. That's unbelievable. And I got to say thanks to the commissioners for allowing that to take place. Right. But also I'd like for them to understand that if they do not choose that and they wish to go back to COA in the fall, it's free for them as well. And they can pick and choose to do that process. And in 2 years from now, they have a free associate degree. So hopefully they'll look into that and make that happen if it works for them and their family. And wanted to let you know that I feel with the report that we're having coming from DPI or DPS over the summer that we'll be fine with our security check, because Shannon and Holly has worked that I know in the last 12 months, maybe a little bit longer, to make where Dare County Schools is going in the right direction to be safe. Are we perfect? Are we there? No, but they're working on it, and we're going to make that happen. But I do feel comfortably saying that we'll have a good report if that comes out to be. And I just want to let them know, let the community know that those two young ladies has done an outstanding job, and thank you for your hard work. And Manual High School soccer team made us proud. Unbelievable, you know. So the recognition tonight, and this is just a small part, and I said that originally. It's unbelievable, and Chuck and Joe and Kim, the teacher, of saving that young man's life is unbelievable. So I feel that we had a great year, and everybody, all schools, Kitty Hawk to Hatters to Manteo, has made us proud,
Right.
and we should feel that way. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Twitty. Ms. Ballas?
Just want to reflect quickly on the graduation and just to see, but go into all three, and they're all three so unique and so different in their own way that it's really a special thing to see. And also how many community members outside of the like actual families that come just because they've watched these kids grow up, and they might not even have any like direct family relation, but they feel like they're family because they've seen these children grow up. And again, want to reiterate that our thoughts and prayers are with the families that were affected by that accident today.
Thank you, Ms. Ballas. Mr. Wicker?
Yeah, on June 3rd, Dare Days was in Manteo, and the 5th grade class from Manteo Elementary School, they made some little solar-powered boats out of 2 drink bottles, a solar panel on top, and a little motor. And so I forgot the number of kids actually there, but we had 3 little tracks, and our little tracks were kind of old, so we had to constantly fill them up with air and water. But they had a good time, I think. So I think hopefully we'll do that in years to come. It was kind of a cool little project. It was cloudy, so the little solar-powered boats didn't move probably as fast as they should have. But anyway, it was pretty fun for a Dare Day event.
Ms. Bothwell?
I just echo everything that everybody said. That's, I'm really proud of Dare County Schools. Very proud.
Mr. Woody?
Yeah, I got a couple things. I sent out an email about a proclamation in support for the Lost Colony. I don't know what we have to do to be able to approve of that proclamation for the Lost Colony. I don't know what the process of that is. I think most of you guys agreed that it's something that we should do for supporting the local arts and so forth in Manteo. So I'm just looking for guidance on how to get that done.
We just need to get on the agenda, Mr. Woody.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Woody. Mr. Brower?
I don't have anything except it was just a great weekend to go to 3 very different schools to watch the graduating classes and just feel the, you know, the excitement and the energy and the youth that was there. And I'm really proud to be on this board and to be a part of any of that.
Thank you, Mr. Bass. Any further?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do want to say one thing about the graduations also, would echo a ditto from what everybody said. Standing room only at all of our graduations. Amazing community support. First flight, stands were full. People were spread out all over the field. And Mr. Twitty, I'm going to agree with you. For a venue for graduation, Waterside Theater is awesome. And once again, standing room only. It was full, people standing to watch these students graduate. It was great. Same thing for Hatters, standing room only. So hats off to faculty, staff, and students, and good luck to our seniors. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are now adjourned. Thank you.